late in the afternoon. I don't know if you were out and about, but we had some rather threatening clouds. But that's all they did. They just threatened and they moved on out. Still some clouds now, but they'll be leaving as the day progresses. Beautiful weekend coming up. The first weekend of summer. The forecast I think you're going to like. If you like it, sunny and warm, but not hot. You're going to like what I'm going to send your way here in a few minutes with the weather forecast. We will have the news. Mariners are struggling. That's all there is to it. They should have beaten the Yankees last night. They had their ace on the mound. The Yankees did not. The Yankees are fielding a junior varsity team almost. But no such luck in the Bronx. But the Apple Sox continue to play outstanding baseball. They beat Kamloops last night. We'll hear from Storm and Joel Noren. It's Thursday, Pause for Pets. Wilfred the dog needs a home, and it's one of those rare opportunities that you can adopt a puppy, because Wilfred's a puppy. They don't get too many puppies that stick around particularly long at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, but Wilfred is an exception. He needs a permanent home. Maybe you can help us out. We'll profile Wilfred. And it is the first full day of summer 2023. We always check in with Bonnie Orr on the solstices and the equinoxes. We went up to Omi Gardens on Monday, and you will see that interview in the back half of the program. We have fairly cloudy skies, 55 degrees. And we begin our tour with our cameras around the valley, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi division. Going to use the lower heights camera. We mentioned this yesterday. We don't use it too often, but we do have it there. We have two cameras on the heights, the one next to the cross and the one about 900 feet to the east and lower in elevation. That gives us a better shot of the East Wenatchee area. And by golly, that's exactly what you're getting on this Thursday morning. And you can see the high clouds still hanging around. But again, they'll be thinning out as the day progresses. Lake Aniat looks something like this from our Orondo Rock camera. I have it zoomed in just a little bit for Lake Aniat. It's not Lake Aniat. Well, they call it Lake Aniat. It's still the Columbia River, but it's the big reservoir behind Rocky Reach Dam. You can actually make out a little sliver of Omi Gardens up in the corner. Beautiful view in Leavenworth this morning from our Tumwater Canyon camera. Not in the canyon, there would be nothing to see, but look at that. Is it me, or does Leavenworth look extra green today? They had a lot of snow again over the winter in Leavenworth, a lot of moisture still on the ground, so Leavenworth is sparkling green this morning, an emerald shimmering green in Leavenworth. Good morning to you folks. And finally up to Lake Chelan from McNeil Canyon. It looks like they have quite a bit of cloud cover up at Lake Chelan. Again, it will be departing as the day progresses. The camera on top of the McNeil Canyon location is about 300 feet high, and then we put a camera on top of that. That's where we can get that spectacular view over the top of the ridge and looking down into Lake Chelan. Well, once again, we'll be busy this weekend because the weather is looking good. Yesterday, on the first day of summer, on the solstice, the National Weather Service's climate prediction folks sent out their long-term predictions for, well, early summer anyway, and it looks something like this. We are going to be warm. There's been a brutal heat wave in central and southern Texas. That's going to continue. But for next week, this was for June 27th through July 1st, we have about a 60 to 70% chance, a very good chance, of seeing our regular high temperatures or normal high temperatures above normal in the Pacific Northwest, as you can see there. And as far as precipitation is concerned for the same time period, June 27th through July 1st, pretty much normal, which means dry. If we get any precipitation at all, it will probably come in the form of a thunderstorm, but there's none in the forecast. But again, looks like we're off to or going to be anyway, a warm and dry start to summer 2023. In detail from the National Weather Service, here we go. Sunshine close to 80. That is now our new normal high. Our normal high starting today goes from 79 to 80. And by the way, still a lot of sunshine. Sunrise this morning, 5:04, sunset 9:01. But it's not the longest day of the year today. It's actually tomorrow. Sunrise will still be at 5:04, but sunset on Friday will be 9:02. Just thought I'd let you know there. Mostly clear tonight, 57 for the overnight low. We warm up into the mid-80s on Friday with lots of sunshine. Very little wind really in the forecast today. Little hit and miss wind expected on Friday. Saturday, right around those mid-80s with lots of sunshine. We start warming up on Sunday up to 87. We'll be into the lower 90s with lots of sunshine into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Very typical summertime weather for the Wenatchee Valley. Bring it on. 6 minutes after the hour, What made news on Wednesday? We'll let you know in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blind store.
The Clearwater Saloon and Casino has the best Vegas-style games in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy yourself and discover the nightly action. Win big and meet new friends at the Clearwater Saloon and Casino.
You are ready to earn your BSN degree, and we know you need a special place to take the next step in your career. You are an engaged learner who needs modern labs and equipment, hands-on support, and small class sizes. You're a busy adventurer who needs trees, mountains, rivers, and trails. As a learner, as a future RN, as an adventurer, find it in the BSN program at Wenatchee Valley College.
Experience memories that will last forever on a Sun Chaser pontoon boat from Bob File Boats and Motors. If you're looking to get out fishing with your buddies or just enjoying time on the water with friends, a Sun Chaser pontoon boat is a great choice. Owning a Sun Chaser is more than just an incredible feeling of freedom and exhilaration. It's about taking that indulgence to the next level. See the full line of Sun Chaser pontoon boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
It's 8 minutes after the hour, 55 degrees. Clouds will be thinning out. We'll see some sunshine, upper 70s today, lower 80s. On Friday, beautiful weekend, lots of sunshine, nice light breeze. Get out and enjoy. A man who pleaded guilty to his part in a scheme to distribute drugs in the Wenatchee Valley was sentenced Wednesday to 5 years and 1 day in prison. 36-year-old Brandon Daniel Lux pled guilty in Chelan County Court to charges of possessing methamphetamine with intent to deliver and unlawful possession of a firearm. 2 other men arrested in the same operation at this time last year by the Columbia River Drug Task Force were charged in federal court. Police found large amounts of both meth and fentanyl in a Wenatchee hotel room that Lux had rented, as well as a handgun in his car. Now, Lux's plea allows him to avoid an additional charge of possessing fentanyl with intent to sell. A man who faced murder charges last year is now jailed for his alleged role in some drive-by shootings that took place over the weekend. 24-year-old Jesus Manuel Torres Lucatero is arrested on suspicion of participating in a set of Saturday gunfire incidents in Wenatchee and in the Cashmere area. Police say Torres acted as the driver while his cousin, 22-year-old Alexander Narahayo, fired shots out the window from a .38 caliber pistol. The gunfire allegedly took place near Kittitas and Idaho Streets around 11 a.m. on Saturday, as well as Mission Creek Road outside of Cashmere an hour earlier. Now, a juvenile suspect was also arrested for allegedly firing a 9mm handgun. Torres, if you might remember, was arrested in 2022 on suspicion of murder in the shooting death in a downtown Cashmere parking lot. However, prosecutors later withdrew those charges, saying Torres shot the victim to defend his brother from an attack. A 50-year-old man sleeping in a wooded area near the Apple Capitol Loop Trail was badly burned Tuesday night when the brush around him caught fire. The Wenatchee Valley Fire Department says they were summoned about 8:20 on Tuesday night to the 1600 block of Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee. When they arrived, they found a fire burning in brush and cottonwood trees and pulled a man in a burning sleeping bag to safety. Department spokesperson Kama Keller says the man was taken by ambulance to Confluence Health with severe burns and eventually airlifted to a medical center in Seattle. The brush fire was under control just about an hour later. The second fire, a second call just after midnight, found suspicious fires burning in a couple of dumpsters outside J.C. Penney in Wenatchee. That caused some damage to the outside of the building. That incident is being investigated as an arson. Douglas County Sheriff's deputies are seeking the public assistance to locate that man. He's been missing now since early Tuesday. He's 25-year-old Jesse Robert Cadenas. He went missing from his home on Hammond Lane in Rock Island. He has autism, and his family worries that he may be at risk. Deputies say he was riding a bicycle, left his cell phone and his keys behind. Jesse is described as 5 feet 6 inches tall, 120 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, believed to be wearing a tank top, possibly a blue plaid shirt. If you see him, please call Rivercom's line at 663-9911. Washington Commissioner of Public Lands, Hillary Franz, was in Wenatchee on Monday. She visited our studios. The chief of the Department of Natural Resources, she's in charge of supervising 3.3 million acres of state trust land, and that includes 2 million acres of forests that are now, of course, susceptible to fires because of climate change. Franz told NCW Life her agency's Keep Washington Evergreen initiative aims to battle that crisis by using smart forest management.
Washington State is the evergreen state. And for the first time, in literally the history of Washington State, less than half of our state is forested. We are seeing an increasing conversion of our forest lands as we see more and more people can work from anywhere, right? As increasing population. And as we lose those forests, we're obviously losing their ability to sequester carbon. We're also losing the wood product that we believe should be grown right here in Washington State for our built environment. Because if we're bringing it from anywhere else, that's an enormous amount of greenhouse gas emissions that comes from the trucking, right? We have to restore 1.25 million acres of forest in central and eastern Washington so it doesn't go up in smoke and flames, because wildfires become our second largest greenhouse gas emissions. Second, pushing for us to actually conserve 1 million acres of working forest lands in Washington State. And it's not just working, but we have really made a significant progress in the conservation, and we will always be continuing to push as we see more and more people moving our forests. But we've got to be able to increase the amount of working forest that we have if we're going to really meet our climate goals and if we're going to also meet our housing goals. The Keep Washington Evergreen initiative is restore 1.25 million acres of forest, reforest 1 million acres, and conserve 1 million acres of forest. And to that conservation goal, we were able to also secure around $70 million out of the legislature this last legislative session towards going and purchasing forest land so that at threat of conversion that enables us to keep those forests working, also helps reduce sort of the creates better connectivity between federal and state lands where those in-holdings are, where you might have private but at threat of conversion. So now that's a loss for the carbon sequestration, but it's also a loss for fish and wildlife mobility. And now with federal funding, Inflation Reduction Act has brought a significant amount of funding forward in the Forest Legacy Program, around $700 million. The great news, and our agency oversees that program in our state, the great news is we are like third in the nation in the entire history of the Forest Legacy Program out of the federal government. We're third in the nation for the most amount of money that we've secured for it. We're hoping to leverage the $70 million we just got this legislative session to now go and increase the amount of investments of that $700 million so we can actually do more conservation here in our state.
That's the news on this Thursday morning. The news that takes place throughout the course of the day today will be gathered, disseminated, and then presented to you on the NCW Life Evening News with Grant and Eric at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. That's on television, 5, 6, and 10. That doesn't fit into your schedule. That's cool. We got you covered there, too, because we'll post it on our Facebook page, on our website, and on our YouTube page as well. And if there's a news tip, get a hold of us. Email us, call us, go to our homepage and click on the Contact Us icon, or go to our Facebook page and drop us a note using the Messenger app. When we come back, Mariners lose, Apple Sox win. Seems to be fairly prevalent nowadays. Sports in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Are you hungry enough to eat the end out of a rhinoceros? I know how you feel. Come on out to Blueberry Hills. You'll have a great time. We've got excellent food, a feet on the furniture kind of experience, and we won't hustle you out of your table. If you want a real farm experience, make the trek to Manson to Blueberry Hills, where you sit, you pick, you eat, and you visit. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
This is it. The RV sales event of the year is happening now at the Town Toyota Center during the Summer Getaway Sales Event. Choose from the best brands, Grand Design, Flagstaff, Thor, SMC trailers, and more. Over 600 RVs to choose from. Payments just $239 per month and $2,000 over JD Power for your trade-in. Plus, get a Yeti cooler and Traeger grill with your purchase. Don't let these summer deals get away. Sale extended. 5 more days, ends June 25th. The hottest deals at the Summer Getaway Event. Now at the Town Toyota Center, just off Walla Walla Avenue. Hurry in today.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here. I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
17 minutes after the hour, the Yankees are known as the Bronx Bombers, and they proved that last night, hitting 3 home runs, beating the Mariners 4-2 at the stadium. Luis Castillo, like the Mariners themselves, has not had a good month this month. The right-hander is 0 for 4 for the month of June. He's also allowed 5 home runs, including 2 costly bombs last night in the Bronx.
Deep to right field, going back, Hernandez, turning, looking, see ya! A 2-run home run for Bowers. Yankees up 2-0.
Well, Anthony Volpe was not running on that pitch, but you knew Castillo was paying attention to Volpe at first, and he gave Bowers a fastball, middle, down, and in. 6th home run of the year, a 2-run shot, and a big one.
Drill deep to right field. There it goes! See ya! Into the second deck. Billy McKinney goes yard. It's 3-0 Yanks.
Well, we saw Billy McKinney with a long home run last night. This one not quite as far, but boy, he's quick on the inner half. 2 for 2, dropped the base hit into right field off a changeup and a long home run on the fastball inside.
Driven out to left field, deep, going back, Kelnick, turning, looking, see ya! Home run number 10 for Volpe, and the Yankees lead 4-0.
Well, we talked about Anthony Volpe making some adjustments in last night's game, getting on top of a high fastball and drilling it for a base hit. Tonight, it's home run number 10 for Volpe.
The stretch and the 0-1 pitch, swing and a well-hit ball deep to left field. Kiner for left foot, going back, looking up, and there it is. Goodbye baseball. Dylan Moore with his first hit of the season. A home run to straightaway left. The Mariners get on the board here in the top of the 8th inning. Dylan Moore, high five from Manny, rounding third, touches home, and the Mariners finally get a run here in the top of the 8th inning on Moore's first hit of the year. And it's now the Yankees 4, the Mariners 1. Way to go, Dylan.
Kelnick out to Bader. This is plenty deep for Julio to tag. Bader makes the catch. Julio waltzes home, and the Mariners get on the board here in the 9th inning. They cut the lead in half, but they're now down to their final out.
Strike 3, got him on a fastball. The Yankees win 4-2. They win the series and can sweep with a victory tomorrow. Power and pitching. The Yankees get it done and beat the Mariners for the 2nd straight game.
Luis Castillo is pretty much the ace of the staff, but boys, he struggled in June, especially his strikeout to walk ratio. For the month of June, it's about 50%. His career strikeout to walk ratio is about 32%. After the game, a rather red-faced Scott Service was more upset with his lack of offensive power than with Louis Castillo's struggles on the mound.
A lot of deep counts. Obviously, the Yankees had a very patient approach against him, and the 2 home runs hurt. But say all that, he still kind of kept us in the game, and but offensively, again tonight, not getting much done at all, and we need to be better. We need to be better offensively. We need to be more consistent, and it's not happening right now. The Yankees are banged up right now. They've got a number of guys that have come in and filled big shoes, and they're getting big hits. Obviously, the guys that are hitting the home runs for them here the last couple nights. But we're on the road. You got to hit, and you need to put pressure on their pitching, and we have not done that. Every night in this league, you got to compete, you got to fight, really from the first inning on. I thought the last couple innings, and the at-bats were better, but you really got to fight from the first inning on. And if you don't, you're going to be feeling good about it at the end of the game. So we're better than that. We know we are, and needs to turn. We've got 4 more games on this road trip against really good teams. We need to be more competitive. You got to create, opportunities. You've got to go out and be driven by, finding a way to get on base, getting a big hit when you need it. I thought Jared Kelly tonight was on it. Had a good night. He swung the bat. He has been locked in. He's been very focused. But up and down the lineup, you haven't seen that with any group of guys that we've had. So it's consistency. You go any which way you want to go with it, but it's a collective group coming together and saying we're really going to fight and compete, and we're not doing that right now to the best of our ability.
One more game between the Yankees and the Mariners as the Mariners try to win a game in the Bronx. They'll get going at 4:05, and they take off to go to Baltimore for the weekend. All right, to the American League West scoreboard on Wednesday, Chas McCormick and Yanier Diaz hit 2-run home runs to power Houston. They beat the Mets 10-8. Stephen Kwan's 2-run double in the bottom of the 8th proved to be the game winner for Cleveland. The Guardians overcoming Oakland 7-6. In Chicago, Jonah Heim hit a 3-run home run, while Ezekiel Duran hit a 2-run shot to lift the Rangers over the White Sox 6-3. It was bullpen day for the Dodgers. They used 7 pitchers in a 2-hit shutout of the Angels. 2-0 the final there. Freddie Freeman and Miguel Vargas each hit solo home runs for the win. So the Angels' loss, combined with Houston's win, helps the Astros leapfrog into second place in the AL West. They're 5.5 back of Texas. Seattle drops to 10 games back. They're now in 4th place. Easton Edmondson continues to deliver for the Wenatchee Apple Sox. They blanked Kamloops last night, 3-0. The reigning West Coast League Player of the Week smashes league leading 6th home run last night. Wenatchee beats the North Paws. Quincy Vassar picked up his first win of the season. With the details, it's our good buddy, the voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman.
The Wenatchee Apple Sox opened up their 3-game set against the Kamloops North Paws with another shutout win, a 3-0 triumph on Wednesday night at Norbrock Stadium. Easton Amundsen homered for a West Coast League leading 6th time this season and for a 3rd consecutive game to break a scoreless tie in the top of the 6th inning. Quincy Vassar went 6 shutout innings, and Cam Hoyland recorded a 3-inning save. The Sox take on the North Paws on Thursday afternoon in a doubleheader. Both games will be 7-inning games and will get started at 4 p.m. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Thank you, Joel. Also, Mason Strong had a good game. He had 2 hits last night, including an RBI base hit in the 6th inning. After today's doubleheader, Wenatchee returns home to spend over a week here in the Valley. Joel joined me on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley before they headed north of the border to talk about a long stretch of getting to sleep in their own beds.
Right after that, we face Port Angeles at home, which will be good. We really get that whole week in our own beds, getting used to everything. But then it's a really daunting stretch after that. We go to Edmonton right after wrapping up the series of Port Angeles, back here for one home game on Fireworks Night, July 3rd, and then right back out on the road, this time at Port Angeles. So the travel in this league is something you don't get in some other ones. The Cape Cod League, they don't travel like this, but this is what the professionals do. They are traveling this way at the minor league level, maybe flying at the major league level, but the point is that part of our league is to prepare these guys as ball players, whether it's on the field or maybe on the bus going to the next destination.
You think Mitch is going to give the guys, since there's no games Sunday or Monday, and then home games after that, a long stretch of home, he's going to give them just the 2 days off?
Presumably.
Just chill, stay in shape, don't get hurt, but don't worry about
don't think about baseball for a couple of days?
It could be. You know, he might have some sort of light workout. We saw it on the Monday before this past week, before we went off to Springfield. He had a workout here at the field. He felt like the team's bunt defense wasn't quite there. That was a huge issue. The first week of the season, they couldn't defend bunts very well. So they worked on that a lot. We'll see. I think it all depends on how this week goes, both in Kamloops and against the Northwest Star Academy. If the team's focus isn't there, I'm sure Coach Darlington's going to be really, probably trying to just set something up either Sunday or Monday to make sure, hey, we're not going to wear them out, but we got to remind them what we're here to do.
And it's a good thing that the Apple Sox keep playing winning baseball, because the two teams they're chasing is also playing winning baseball. The Harbor Cats' Michael Crossland was 4 for 4 with 4 RBIs. Victoria beating Edmonton 11-4. Tyler Davis also had 3 hits for the Cats, scored 3 times. Brady Reynolds' 3-run double highlighted the 6-run 5th inning for Bellingham. The Bells ringing Kelowna 8-3. Elijah Icks 2 for 3 with a couple of RBIs and 3 walks to lead Nanaimo over Port Angeles 8-2. The Night Owls scoring 4 runs in the top of the 9th to secure the victory. Jacob Sharp's RBI base hit in the top of the 9th broke a 4-all tie to give Ridgefield a 5-4 win at Yakima Valley. Andy Ambriz powered the Raptors offense with 2 hits and 3 RBIs. Nicky Marcantes-Santos' RBI base hit in the top of the 8th put Portland in front. Evan Cloyd followed with a 2-run home run to ice it for the Pickles. Portland beats Cowlitz 6-3. Bend trailed Springfield 3-2 in the top of the 9th last night. Luca Di Palio tied it with a leadoff home run. Eliza Jackson proved the game winner 2 batters later with an RBI double. 4-3 the final. Ben Parker 3 for 5 to lead Walla Walla to an 8-6 non-league win over the Northwest Star Academy. So the standings in the North. Still, Bellingham and Victoria atop the West Coast League's North Division. Wenatchee's just a game back. Kelowna is in 4th, 3.5 back. Nanaimo was 5 games out of first place. And then the rest of the teams, and those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Thursday, the first full day of summer, the 22nd day of June. It's National Chocolate Eclair Day. Decided not to do that. National HVAC Technician Day. If you're looking for a career, get into it young. There's always a demand for HVAC technicians, especially in these parts. But today we celebrate the onion ring. Who invented the onion ring? The origin of the onion ring? Who knows? It's hard to find a really good onion ring because you have to do that perfect balance that when you bite into the onion ring, that the inside of the onion doesn't come out of the encasement. Of course, you got to have it deep fried. It's the only way to do it. Hot from the fryer is the way to go. And you dip it. You dip it in ketchup. I probably shouldn't, but I do. Kirby's Pig Stand, which was a restaurant chain that you probably don't remember, they took credit for inventing the onion ring sometime back in the 1920s. Kirby's Pig Stands were all over the South for quite some time. They were a chain of restaurants. They eventually got bought out by other restaurants and closed. But the real game changer was A&W. In the 60s, A&W decided to substitute onion rings for French fries as their basic meal, and that was a game changer. That was the thing that really popularized onion rings in fast food restaurants. A&W. Congratulations to A&W. All of a sudden, I want a root beer. Enjoy an onion ring today, or maybe 2. It's 28 minutes after the hour. Today in history, the Holy Office in Rome called Galileo Galilei onto the carpet on this date 390 years ago. On this date in 1633, of course, Galilei was saying, hey, the sun is the center of the universe, not the earth. And the Holy Office in Rome said that goes against the teachings of the church. Can't have science and religion conflicting with each other. So he was called onto the carpet and said, you must recant your theory that the sun is the center of the earth and everything rotates around the sun. That's not the truth. The earth is the center of the universe and everything rotates around us. And so he did it just to get out of hot water. Turns out he was right. Listen to the guy. That was 390 years ago today. One of Adolf Hitler's 3 significant mistakes in World War II. It's amazing what may have changed history if Nazi Germany didn't make 3 significant mistakes. Of course, the first big one was taking a 5-day break before they finally conquered France. And that allowed, of course, the evacuation of Dunkirk to get a bunch of Frenchmen and the existing English army across the channel to England. If he had pressed the issue, that probably wouldn't have been the case. Second mistake that he made was bringing in the Soviets on the side of the Americans and the American industrial war machine. And of course, this mistake, gee, I've conquered almost all of continental Europe. I think I'll just turn around the other way and attack the Soviets. And he did with the Operation Barbarossa, which was launched on this date in 1941. This remarkable statistic, think about this for just a minute. In the entirety of World War II, in all theaters of operations, about 400,000 Americans were killed in World War II. Almost 600,000 Soviet troops were killed in this battle alone, Operation Barbarossa. Oops. Worked out good, but huge mistake. Bloody, bloody war there. Happy 79th birthday to the GI Bill. That's what it became known as. It was actually called the Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944. FDR signed it into law in the state of 1944, making up for the big mistake they made after World War I. We win. All the troops come home. Thank you very much. See ya. No benefits, the bonus army marches. You gave up 2 years of your life, and a lot of you gave up your lives. And in exchange, we're not going to do squat for you veterans. They decided not to make that mistake again. The GI Bill becomes law, and all kinds of benefits for returning veterans. Low-cost mortgage, guaranteed unemployment insurance for a year, small business loans if you want to start a business, if you want to go to college, we'll pay for your tuition. If you want to go to vocational school, that's cool as well. If you had a job, your job is guaranteed to be there for you when you're returned. My dad went to college and law school on the GI Bill, signed into law 79 years ago today. It's a big one. And on June 22nd, 1969, around noon, a passing train threw off sparks that landed on oil debris that was on the surface of the Cuyahoga River in Cleveland, and the Cuyahoga River, a river, caught fire. Now, I'm not an expert on these things, but I'm pretty sure if a river catches fire, it's not a very healthy river. And the Cuyahoga River flowing through the heart of downtown Cleveland was so filthy and polluted that it actually caught on fire. Obviously, people went, that's not supposed to happen. So out comes the Clean Water Act and the Environmental Protection Agency. Water is not supposed to burn. I remember they taught me that in school a long time ago, 33 minutes after the hour. Birthdays in the late 60s and early 70s, this guy was about the hottest songwriter on the planet. He wrote Me and Bobby McGee, a #1 hit for Janis Joplin, Sunday Morning Coming Down, a huge hit for Johnny Cash, For the Good Times. Ray Price took that to #1. Help Me Make It Through the Night, Sammy Smith took that to #1. Chris Christopherson, the songwriter, the occasional actor, member of the Highwaymen. Chris Christopherson is 87 years old today. Pete Maravich was born in this state in 1947, died of a heart attack while playing a pickup basketball game at the age of 40. He is the all-time leading scorer in NCAA Division I men's basketball, 3,667 points. He averaged 44 points a game back when there was no three-point line and freshmen were not eligible for varsity basketball. He only played 3 years at LSU and is still the all-time record for most points scored in Division I men's basketball. Pete Maravich, born in the state in 1947. Meryl Streep. Check this out, this amazing statistic. Most nominations in the acting category for the Academy Awards. Laurence Olivier and Bette Davis were each nominated 10 times for an acting award. Jack Nicholson and Katharine Hepburn had 12 Academy Award acting nominations. Meryl Streep has 21 nominations for either Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress from the Academies. 21. She's 74 years old today. Lindsay Wagner has never been nominated for an Oscar, but I don't care. I had a crush on her when I was a kid, and she still got it at the age of 74, the Bionic Woman. Happy birthday, Lindsay Wagner. Yes, I had a crush on her when I was a kid. I maybe still do, don't know. 35 minutes after the hour, Mike McNally's got an opinion. Bonnie Orr will be dropping by. It's the first full day of summer. We went up to Omi Gardens because it's a beautiful place to hang around, and we taped our interview with Bonnie. Your summertime gardening do's and don'ts with a lady who knows what she's talking about. But first things first, Wilfred the puppy needs a home. It's Paws for Pets.
Hi, I'm Corley, Animal Care Coordinator here at Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and this is Wilfred. Wilfred is our 7-month-old puppy, poodle mix, we believe, and he's just so full of love and excitement for people. We really want you to meet him. We think that the ideal home for him would be, with a young family and maybe another dog even. We do know that he used to live with another dog, another female, and they got along wonderfully. He's in our play group every day, and he's with our polite players, so he's really sweet with them, but also playful. He's just really a great combination. We think he'd also be a really great hiking buddy. He loves his walks and he loves people. I really think that he would love to get outdoors and spend time with his people. If you would love to come by and throw a ball for him, or just give him some ear scratches, or you want to know more about him or see if he gets along with your family. By the way, we encourage, if you have another dog, to bring your dog with you so that they can meet, because that's an important relationship to foster too. Make sure he fits with the entire family. We are open all day between 11 and 6 p.m. Thursday through Tuesday.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
I chose a career at Confluence South because I wanted to help people, and I knew there would be opportunities for growth. I started as a medical assistant, but quickly advanced in my career. I received 5 promotions in only 7 years, 3 of those in management roles. Most organizations don't offer that type of growth. Now, as a career pathway coordinator, I let everyone know. Come join Confluence South. Come grow with us.
What's the best way to attract a wide variety of beautiful birds to your backyard? By offering the birds the right foods in expertly designed bird feeders from Wild Birds Unlimited. Whether you've been feeding the birds for a while or are just getting started, let our backyard bird feeding specialists show you how to add a little joy to your life and make nature a part of every day. Shop now for exclusive bird foods, feeders, hardware, and more. Wild Birds Unlimited. Products designed by experts. Trusted local advice.
Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, regarding their success in earning money, I've heard people say that I've worked hard for what I have and I deserve my financial success. Well, I do commend such folks, and I'm a believer in hard work, but let's be honest. A major factor in our financial success in this society is that we exist in a very blessed economic system. If it was hard work alone that guaranteed financial success, the richest people in the world would very likely be women in sub-Saharan Africa or some other such place. Now, let's admit it. Hard work may be a contributing factor in making a lot of money, but it is certainly not a universal guarantee that because I worked hard, I deserve to have more money than someone else. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere, so when we get home, I know it's safe.
Protect your family and save money with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to Guardian Services from LocalTel. Call Guardian Security from LocalTel now or visit localtel.net to learn more.
Did you know people 65 or older make up 12% of the U.S. population but consume 34% of all prescription drugs? Protect yourself and your aged loved ones from prescription errors. Always read labels carefully to avoid mistakes. Ask your pharmacist if over-the-counter medicines conflict with your prescriptions, and never skip doses or take more than is prescribed. This message sponsored by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington. Call 1-800-572-4459 for prescription assistance. Gee, it must be the first day of summer, because on the solstices and the equinoxes, we set aside some valuable time to talk to our gardening expert, the legendary Bonnie Orr, on this, the first full day of summer 2023. And what do you...
I have, well, you know, it's been so cold.
What do you have?
My tomato has a fur coat. I had to put a fur coat around the tomato because the tomatoes are just having a terrible time.
Why?
Because it's been less than 60 degrees. I mean, it's been in the 40s at night. Well, then the tomatoes just sit there and shiver, and, you know, and then when it gets over 85, they, so
we've talked about this before. Tomatoes are very temperamental.
They are so temperamental, and you know, are having these cold temperatures right now. And in 2006, 2007, and 2010, we had the same thing, where it was 50 degrees for a high. I think in 2007 for the first day of summer.
So if you're struggling with your tomatoes, it's probably not your fault, right? I mean, you can do almost anything. If tomatoes are going to be pouty, they're going to be pouty.
That's right. That's right. And you just put up with it.
Yeah. Well, let's start with that real quick while we're on the subject. You go and put that down, Bonnie. While we're on the subject on this, the first day of summer, what can we plant now or in the next, say, 2 to 3 weeks that we'll still be able to harvest in the worlds of vegetables, stuff like that?
I think that you can still plant herbs, and you can still plant eggplants and peppers and tomatoes, but they will ripen later.
Okay, from seed or from starters?
Oh, I would go starters. I would go starters because it's, okay, so most of the things are close to 70, 75 days and that counts from seed or from germination to harvest. I'm not sure if we have 75 days.
But we do have no problems now with soil temperature, which is always the biggest rule of thumb.
That's right.
We're past that as a problem.
I almost took my thermometer out this morning. I did, because it was 49. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the air temperature.
So, but the soil temperature is fine, and that's the key.
Yeah,
that's what we really need. The first thing Bonnie did on the notes that she wrote me: windy June, like we had last year, and the year before that, and the year before that.
It's just amazing, isn't it? It's just what it is, and we just live with it. It's windy.
It's windy. It's been windier than the normal many Junes of the last 5 or 6 years.
You know, what was it? 3 years ago, it blew every day from April 6th to August 6th.
Yeah, it was always windy.
Maybe we just maybe we're moving into, you know, Ellensburg, where it blows every day. And we do have a lot of wind.
We do have a lot of wind, and that's probably blowing weed seeds all over the place, aren't they?
And dust, yes, and weed seeds, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know, the weeds are starting to go to seed. And you know, I noticed the other day that the goat head was starting to show up. You want to take up the goat head before it goes to seed, before it flowers. All of the weeds, if you just scrape them up, don't use herbicide, because herbicide on an annual is a waste of product and a waste of your time. Just scrape them up and, you know, put them in the trash.
Put them in a garbage bag and then put them in the trash, because they can still...
Yes, right. They could probably still get away.
Yeah, and because once they go to seed, you told me it's like each little individual one of those that spreads like 10,000 seeds apiece or something like that.
And goat head, for 9 years, they'll stay in the soil, waiting to come up.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
So anyway, the idea is to not allow them to go to seed, and you'll be so much better off.
Yeah, because nobody likes to pull those things. They just don't.
Well, it's not just pulling; it's the idea that they can get ahead of you, and then you're in trouble. Yeah.
Mildew on roses. I know that's not a country band.
It sounds like it.
Has it been a problem this year? I don't have any roses, so I don't know.
Okay, you know, it has been a little bit of a problem because we haven't had any rain, but people who irrigate, okay, and mildew goes away when it goes to 90 degrees. And you know, some people want to use a fungicide because the mildew is a fungus. That just kills bees and beneficials. So just be patient. It's cosmetic damage only.
And you want to have, I mean, if you're into the ecosystem, you want to have plants that will attract pollinators and birds.
That's right.
If you enjoy that.
Well, you want to have that whole spectrum. You know, that's how you have healthy soil, healthy plants. And we have to save something for the next generation or two.
If you have something that needs to be pollinated, like a lot of flowers that need to be pollinated by bees, how do you know they're actually getting the job done if you don't see them?
You aren't being observant.
Okay.
They're there.
Okay.
They are absolutely there. And you know, you can grow some things that attract huge numbers of pollinators, like milkweed. That just, I mean, there will be 7 different pollinators at one time on those plants. But the more things the more pollinator-friendly plants you have, the more you will have. More bees, more butterflies, more moths.
We've talked about root rot before on a couple of occasions. That means you're overwatering and the tree the roots just go, I'm done with this. They drown.
Yeah, literally, they don't have enough air because the soil is 25% air, 25% water, and 50% soil. And you know, one of the things I've noticed this last 2 weeks has been fairly cool. I mean, it's been quite cool. And people have not changed their watering regimen. People set their timers, you know, and they run whatever schedule they decide. Well, I haven't watered since Thursday because it hasn't needed it. It has not evaporated. And you dig down, and if your water profile is 6 to 8 inches, you're fine. You water. You have an irrigation system, but you don't put it on a timer, do you? You have the manual control, right? I have a manual. I decide each day whether or not it needs water.
Slugs are having a field day.
Again, because people are irrigating.
Okay.
And the more irrigation, the ground is always wet, especially if you are over watering, then they go, well, this is great, you know.
Are slugs always bad? Is there any such thing as a good slug?
Well, you know, in compost piles, they are good slugs because they are eating vegetative material.
Okay.
So that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next,
I mean, you can also cook them, you know.
No, not for me.
Not for you. Not for you.
I mean, I love the French, but I'm not getting there. Buy seeds for fall planting. Buy them now?
Because the stores are going to take them off the shelves very soon. And so this is the time to, if you want to have beets and carrots, you know, for your fall garden, peas for your fall garden, this is the time to buy them.
And then you just stick them in a drawer. When the time comes, you can do it.
In a month.
Right.
You plant them.
And seeds, I believe, if you told me this correct, seeds have a fairly long shelf life. You could buy seeds.
They do.
Yeah.
You know, and you can always test them. You know, you try to germinate 10 of them in a wet paper towel, and that'll tell you the percentage of germination you can hope for.
And anytime you buy anything at a garden center, be it seeds, starters, plants, trees, flowers, the instructions are on there because they want you to be successful.
They do.
It's a good look for them if you do what the instructions say. So follow the instructions, right?
If it says full sun, that means 6 to 8 hours directly. We are in full sun right this minute, okay? And people plant full sun things, and they only get actual sun for a couple hours a day. That plant is not going to be happy.
So if you read the instructions, you're ahead of the game.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things that people plant in the spring is cilantro. They plant cilantro and spinach, and then it bolts, it goes to seed, because our days are too long. Well, now they're going to start to recede. So if you plant cilantro around the middle of August, you will have cilantro because it's a fall plant for us.
Okay, okay. Next up, last call to prune spring flowering shrubs.
Oh, yes, those lovely lilacs, forsythia, viburnum, all of those things that make our spring so beautiful.
And lilacs are done. They've already gone through their blooming cycle.
Everybody has.
Right.
Okay. So this is the time to cut back, reshape. You can take up to 30% of the plant off if you want to, and it will resprout.
You can be real aggressive.
You can be real aggressive. But if you wait any longer, the flower buds for next year will be setting in July.
Oh.
So if you go, oh, I'll do it in a few weeks, well, then you'll have no flowers next year.
I want to talk real quickly about thatching your yard. I did that last year because I have a really big tree in my yard. I have nothing but grass and one big oak tree. And when you would be amazed about how much dead grass and dead leaves and little twigs come up with it. It was a general thatching rate.
Yes,
it's a ton amount.
What it is the dead stems of the grass plants, and it mats, and then the water doesn't get down. So you think you're watering lots and lots and lots, but if you dig down, you'll see that your water profile is only 2 inches, and the roots are only 2 inches, which means they do not persist through the heat.
So if you have a big yard, you can go and rent a thatcher, or if you have a small yard, you can buy a thatching rake. They sell them almost everywhere. But it's amazing what it does to your yard.
And then occasionally you probably should have it done professionally.
Yeah.
Because they can do it bigger and better.
That's true, but it's amazing how much. I have a very small yard. I scooped up 3.5 garbage bags full of thatch. It's amazing how much that it gets there. You don't even know it's there until you dig it up. End of fertilizer applications as heat increases. So
this will be the last week because this week's going to continue to be cool. So what happens is you give a jolt of fertilizer to your plants and they go, whoa, this is wonderful. But then if it gets hot, they can't support the new growth, which is how you get blossom end rot on your tomatoes and lots of other problems. So being moderate, a little bit of fertilizer for your vegetables and your flowers.
And I think you told me one time that fertilizing in the fall is just never a good idea because you're just fooling the plant into thinking it's still summer.
That's right. And also, they don't need it. They aren't going to be growing, and it's going to just wash into the groundwater. And see, this is the other thing about fertilizing. If you are watering without much attention to it, you're really just washing all your fertilizer out of your soil.
You mentioned outside of cooking them, there are really no such thing as really good slugs. There are good insects and bad insects. Let's talk about the bad insects that you want to keep an eye on and get rid of.
The 5%. I mean, that's all it is, 5%.
Yeah, but they can do a lot of damage.
Well, no, they can't. You know how they do a lot of damage? You aren't paying attention.
Okay.
Because you know what I always say. You go out with your cup of coffee in the morning, or you go out with your glass of wine in the evening, and you survey, and you can start to see the beginnings of, well, squash bugs is my favorite. People come in and go, my plants are overwhelmed with squash bugs. Well, what did you do 2 weeks ago? You know, well, I never noticed. So go out, you can see the eggs underneath the leaves inside the vein, next to the veins, and you can squish them, or you can take the leaf up and throw it in the trash. But the important thing is that you are diligent and that you watch. And that's the way you keep bad guys under control.
2 more items and we're almost done here. You already said about pulling the herbicide over spray.
You know, it's windy.
Yeah.
Well, we have been hearing stories of people whose landscape has been damaged by somebody using some type of spray herbicide down the block. It travels a long ways. And the other thing is once it gets warm, it volatilizes like at, I think, 88 degrees. Well, so then it's going to travel even further. So just be cautious and also think, for these annual weeds, you don't need to use herbicide.
No, you don't. And speaking of that, it's funny you brought that up because you have an irrigation system, but you control it manually. You see lawn systems, sprinklers for lawns that are on timers, and it could be blowing 30 miles an hour, and up comes these little misters to water your yard. That ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, it's just raising the humidity somewhere else.
That's all it's doing. So you never really want to water your yard when it's windy out.
That's right.
Because it's not doing anything.
That's right.
Except running up your water bill.
Well, and I have 2 other things I've just thought of that you do because this is the solstice. The first one is you check your smoke detectors.
Okay.
Remember, this is the time you do that on the solstice and on the equinox. And also changing your furnace filters for your air conditioning in your furnace, because then everything works really well 4 times a year. And
you make plans for Sunday, July 9th to be up here. That's the third thing you got to do.
You absolutely. And this is the reason. Okay. The Friends of Omi Garden are having a benefit concert. And the Glad Song, this wonderful choral group, is going to be performing. And then we have a flute choir with Lisa Hardvig to play during intermission. If you buy your tickets ahead of time, and you can do that at omigardens.com, you get a little picnic dinner, but you have to buy in advance for that. And we'll be selling wine and water.
I see a lot of young couples with a lot of young kids hanging around here on this Monday as we tape this. That's got to make you feel pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Seeing the families hanging around here?
It is, absolutely. And what we want to do is that this was built in the 30s, and as you can see, it has diminished in its capability of being used.
It's unsafe.
And we would like to have it so that there are places for people to sit, because not only are there families with youngsters, there are people who bring mature relatives, and sometimes the mature relatives would just prefer to sit for a while and watch the view. And so we'd like to have a sitting area and maybe a little coffee bar or something. But mostly we just want to make it stable.
Yeah, and because this thing is, if we don't do something about it soon, it's just going to fall down.
That's right, and they have taken trees out because our trees do mature, and so they've been saving the cedar trees to reuse.
We need to do a shout out. We're at Omi Gardens. We always come to Omi Gardens when we do these things. The people who work here, the landscapers, the caretakers of Omi Gardens, they do such great work.
Don't they? Yes,
Yeah.
they do, and the friends do too. And you can become a friend, and all you do when you become a friend is buy a season's pass. $40 for an individual, $60 for a couple, $80 for a family. You can come unlimited amounts of time, and you can come and join the weeding gangs, and the friends do weeding. I want to go back to the concert.
Yeah, well,
Starts
how
at
do we get
6.
tickets?
Okay, omigardens.com.
Okay, that's simple.
That's simple. And then omigardens.org.
I don't know. It's Omi Gardens. Google it. We'll throw the poster up. There we go.
Darn. As I can just go blank on that. And so it's from 6 to 9. And that's how you get tickets. It's going to be absolutely wonderful.
Best deal in the Wenatchee Valley by far, a season ticket to Omi Gardens.
Yeah.
You can, when the gardens are open during the regular, you can come and go as you please. You get discounts on merchandise, all kinds of stuff.
And you can sit and read for a while, you know, and listen to the birds. Right now we have robins, and I heard a western peewee, wood
Wow.
peewee, yeah.
And I heard a barking slug. So they missed one. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, the concert's going to be great fun on July 9th. It's a Sunday.
Happy gardening.
Yeah, I always have happy gardening
If anything
days.
significant develops in the world of gardening, lawn and garden care, get a hold of me. I'll be more than happy to make room for you, Bonnie.
Let's hope we don't have anything significant. Yeah.
And rule number 5, common sense usually carries the day, doesn't
That's
it?
right. That's right. Or you could always call the master gardeners.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. Absolutely. It's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
You're watching Pick Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Hi, my car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
The newest generation of GMC Sierra pickups offer the most advanced technology, the strongest selection of powertrain, and everything else you need to work hard, play hard, and explore the boundaries of the Wenatchee Valley and beyond. Take a look at the latest, most luxurious and durable trucks on the market.
You will see why GMC is not your grandfather's pickup.
You want to bet, kid?
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local event broadcasts. JDSA Law has been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, your risks, and your accomplishments. JDSA Law supports the TV broadcasts of these local community events.
All right, first things first, before we get to the weather forecast, which, by the way, you're going to like, let's do the drawing for yesterday's Winning Wednesday contest. It's a $50 gift card to the tap room at Hellbent Brewing at the Pybus Public Market. A lot of people wanted this $50 gift card because we had a lot of entries. Now it's time to give it away. So if you entered yesterday, you can't enter now. It's too late because all the names have been sliced up by Mrs. Hunter. I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes, make sure this is all on the up and up. I'm going to mix it around a little bit more. And I'm going to grab this piece of paper. And this person wins a $50 gift card, courtesy of our friends at Hellbent Brewing and their taproom restaurant at the Pybus. And it is Komslurg Erfbersenflying. Oh, I'm sorry. It's JS. JS, you'll be hearing from me, buddy. I'm going to send you an email. Or JS could be a woman, for all I know. Anyway, congratulations, $50 gift card. Real quickly for the National Weather Service, clouds are already beginning to thin out. They'll continue to do that. 79 today, nice light wind. 84, right around mid-80s on Saturday. Warmer still on Sunday. It is now officially summer, as you know by now. And Mother Nature says, here's summertime weather for you, North Central Washington. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye.
Virginia and Washington, D.C., home to incredible sights and monuments. That's me, Elizabeth, and today my friend Jennifer Veal and I are exploring our nation's capital. First, we'll journey back in time with a trip to Mount Vernon, Virginia.
This is actually where the first president lived.
Then we'll head into Washington, D.C. for a pedicab trivia tour.
George Washington, Lizzie, boom, yes!
Then we're off to take a historic float down the Potomac.
We're going to go on this monuments tour, and it's going to be pretty cool, right?
I'm ready to go.
And make some epic discoveries. We just saw the vice president go by. It's a trip into America's political center that you don't want to miss. So come on, let's see Virginia as our nation's capital. Welcome to Elizabeth Stanton's Great Big World from Virginia and Washington, D.C.